The year 2025 is wrapping up, and this year there were lots of highs but also some lows, and I thought that in this video we're gonna recap a little bit of all the things that happened this year, what are some of the happy moments, but which ones are some of those negative moments that we would like to share with you guys. So let's take a look at how 2025 went for Stuffed Cabbage Adventures. Now, one of the biggest highlights for us this year was that we reached 2 million views, and that is an insane number that even I cannot really comprehend. And this is such a huge number, and it's so really nice to see that year on year we're growing and getting more and more views, and this 2 million that we just passed this December is an insane number, and we are really happy about it. And we also started the year with about 18,000 subscribers, and right now we just passed 31,000. Again, it's really hard to comprehend this. There are stadiums here in Hungary where you cannot even fit so many people in here. It's like a whole town has subscribed to the channel, and we are really grateful for all the people who continue to follow us, and this is also some of the great achievements of this year that we are really proud of. And when it comes to the videos that we made this year, one of the most successful ones was our video about testing 6 different river cruises. And we were really sure that there's gonna be a lot of traction for that video, because if I go on social media, most of the posts are people asking about which is the best river cruise to take here in Budapest, and also on Instagram and TikTok, many of the Budapest related material is featuring the river cruises. And it was really fun, but also exhausting to go on 6 different river cruises in a very short time. But we were always kind of skeptical about the river cruises, so taking all of these actually surprised us in a really positive way. There are indeed some of those river cruises that I can really highly recommend, and they were really super fun, even the one with the unlimited Prosecco cruise, but even the very simple ones, like the one that just takes you around the city and it's basically a BKK boat running around in circles in the middle of the Danube. That was also very fun and cheap as well. But sometimes success isn't about the views a video gets, it is also how discourse starts with some of these videos. And one of ours this year got so many comments. It was the one about the improvements that we see that Budapest really needs. And there were so many people supporting all the things that we have mentioned, even adding to some of the criticism that is fair towards this city, because it is not perfect by any means. We were kind of afraid because we try to be positive, we try to focus on the positive aspects of visiting Budapest and trying to, come up with smiles in the end, and to try to focus less on the negatives as much as possible. And we were kind of afraid that in the end a lot of people will not like this video, but it was also successful, and there was lots of support for what we said, and again lots of conversation about how this city needs to improve in the future. And it made us really happy to see that even on the internet that can get really dark at times, there could have been one video that did not spark a lot of outrage, but some healthy constructive criticism in the end. Now, of course, just because these videos that I said were some of the ones with the most views and most comments and relatively the most successful this year, doesn't mean that these were the most fun and engaging to shoot and edit. Some of the ones that I personally really liked this year were, for example, the one that we made about the photo spots here in Budapest. Some of you who follow me on Instagram probably know that I love photography. I'm just a hobby photographer. I'm not a professional in any ways, but I do love to take photos and edit them and then show them off to the world or print them out for myself. I just really like that. And then it was really challenging to wake up so early and go to check out the sunrise at Fisherman's Bastion. And I was super lucky with the conditions. The sunrise was just gorgeous and amazing. And then the whole day basically just walking around the streets of Budapest, showing off some of my favorite photo spots and locations, even if I have been to these places many times, not just over the past few years, but every single month when we go out to shoot videos, we go to most of the time to the same places, and I still enjoy after 5 years, because this channel in January becomes 5 years old. and it's been an amazing 5 years. And even after all of this time, finding topics and things to shoot about Budapest is a really fun and a really motivating thing, because that brings me to my second video that we made this year that was super fun to do, was the video about courtyards, which initially I thought that it's not gonna be something that resonates with a lot of people, but I was really fascinated by the story. I was really fascinated by some of these courtyards that you can visit in the city, and making a set from Lego was obviously a dream come true for me, because I love to play around with Legos. And it was really, really nice, not just to shoot the video, but in the end to see that so many people enjoyed it, so many people start to explore Budapest a little bit more, go into these courtyard buildings just because they saw this video. And these are some of the examples of why we're actually doing what we're doing. And this kind of a feedback is some of the most motivating for us as content creators. Now, of course, not everything we did this year were memorable for us because they were connected to shooting videos. Some of them, for me personally, were memorable because of the experiences, the sights that we saw, the food that we ate. And some of these include our visit to Japan as a whole, which was a very different travel this time. We went there for the 7th time, and basically this time it was very much off the beaten path. We went all the way to Ishigaki Island. I was super nervous and afraid how foreign tourism works there, how easy it is to get around if you don't speak the language very well. I did have an opportunity sometimes here and there in restaurants to try my basic Japanese skills, and we had some really fun engagements that way, but I was still afraid how we can get around on that small island, and it was just the most amazing trip that I basically ever had. And then continuing to Nagano, to the mountains from the island all the way to the Japanese Alps, it was also spectacular. The sights that we saw, the people we met, the temples we visited, the mountain ranges we saw, to me that was also breathtaking. In the end, Tokyo, we went to baseball game, we saw the sumo, was nice, but Tokyo is way too crowded for me at least. Now, besides that, this year we also went to Pécs here in Hungary, and I was really looking forward to that. I've been there several years ago and also many times as a child, but the city changed so much and for the better. It's amazing. It's really easy to see the whole city in basically just one day. The sights are nice, gorgeous, and we were really blessed with an excellent weather, and I really had fun shooting there, but also taking some photos. And some of my favorite photos this year are exactly from Pécs. So if you're looking for anywhere else to go here in Hungary outside of Budapest, of course there are many, and check out some of our videos that we made about other places, but Pécs is an absolute delight and an absolute highlight, exactly one of the highlights of this year for us. But this year we were also really happy to be able to show you guys more of Hungary. We visited Visegrad, where we saw the Knights tournament. Even if there's no Knights tournament, going to Visegrad, seeing the castle, going for a hike there is an excellent day trip from Budapest, and it was super fun to cover that, including the very exciting Knights tournament. But we also continued covering places near Balaton, like Keszthely, for example, where I knew about the Festetics Palace and how deeply they are connected to the Festetics family, but I didn't know how deep that history goes. And this is also something that we kind of have been changing up in the past few years. When we visit places, we don't only try to show what is there, we also try to learn about the place. We also try to learn fun facts, interesting tidbits from history, and also share those with you. And one of the most fascinating places from a historical perspective this year was Keszthely. And it was just amazing to cover that and super fun to make a video out of it. But we also covered Zalakaros, again, a place for thermal bath culture, an excellent place where you can rest, have some really nice daily thermal spa experiences, and it was a wonderful and relaxing time right there close to Keszthely. But in the end, we also went to Etyek with my dear friend Marci, which I've been really wanting to visit for the past several years because, as you may probably know, I enjoy wine And it is a place which is very famous for wine, and it's literally right next to Budapest. And going there, going to the festival that they had was really good, and next year for sure I will need to bring my wife back there. And of course this year we also had a lot of experience with food. You can see a lot of our videos focus on specific dishes, or when we go out we like to share our experiences, and some of those this year were things that you have seen in our videos, and some may have not been included in any of our videos. Because for example, at the beginning of this year there was some sort of a gourmet program where for a few weeks restaurants, especially high-end restaurants, have given cheaper set menus to their customers if you booked ahead, and this way we could try some of the more expensive restaurants. And for example, Hoppá Bistro we visited, and normally they are a very pricey restaurant. I wouldn't really go there on my own because if I see the menu I sometimes get a little bit shocked at the prices there, but it was such a positive surprise. Every single dish that they have served on that course was just a delight to eat. And even after that, I now may even consider visiting them one day and try their a la carte menu, or if they have another course, then maybe I will try that, because it was just a spectacular, tasty and delicious experience. However, another food highlight from the year did make it into one of our videos, and that was Marumba, which is related to Pigrumba and Dobrumba restaurants here in Budapest, but they have a very specific menu. They serve Hungarian flavors in vegan or vegetarian form. Some of the dishes, like the jókai bean soup, is not something that normally we would call as vegetarian because it has a lot of pork in it, but here they managed to kind of emulate and create that sort of a feeling, even if there was really no meat in there. And it was a delicious experience to go through some of their dishes that had no meat in them. They really truly showed that you can do Hungarian flavors without using meat. It was a real surprise that blew my mind. And the third experience that I would like to highlight, which kind of relates to another not food related highlight, was our visit to David's Kitchen. We were really happy when we could collaborate with a fellow Instagrammer here in Hungary who creates content mostly about food, and through her we got a connection to David's Kitchen. Now normally we are happy if people invite us to their businesses to try what they're serving to their customers or what kind of service they provide, but we only want to show anything in our videos and include them in our videos if we are also satisfied, if we would recommend them. And luckily David's Kitchen was a place that really blew our mind. The food was delicious, their bread was just breathtaking, and they were nice people to talk to, get to know their business, get to know their thoughts on how they want to run their artisanal bakery. And it was a really positive surprise, not just food-wise, but also when it comes to collaborating with people. Because this year we had a few collaborations, we had a few opportunities to hang out with people, to try some of the businesses, but this one stood out. And not just because of the food, but also how lovely the people at David's Kitchen were. So if you're going to the Jewish district here in Budapest, then for a brunch or just grabbing some baked goods, I can highly recommend the visit to David's Kitchen. Now coming back to highlights related to the channel itself, this year we released 3 different kinds of merch. Well, it's 4 depending on how you look at it, but earlier this year we released this one, the Liberty Bridge and the wonderful tram. It's one of my favorite designs, and this is one of the items that sold the most this year. Really colorful, nice. I really had fun making it. But the other things were the jerseys. Now we couldn't really feature these in our videos this year because we didn't really have time to get these shipped, and unfortunately when they arrived it was already the chilly season. Hopefully next year you can see me walking around in Budapest wearing some of these awesome jerseys. I have quite the jersey collection. Soccer teams, even some bands are lately releasing jerseys, and I really like them because of the material, and wearing them during summertime is just amazing. And right a few days ago, actually I think maybe last week, we released this one as well. This really nice design with the courtyard building, because as I said, one of our highlights this year were the videos we made about courtyards, and this was inspired by that. It was really fun drawing this, making this, and also seeing that so many people got really enthusiastic about that design. And overall, we sold 106 different items this year, and that is insane. There are YouTubers obviously out there who sell a lot more merch, but to me personally, to know that out there in America, Canada, Australia, or even here in Europe, someone is walking on the street wearing the things that we have created, or they're just home chilling out in a t-shirt that says Stuffed Cabbage Adventures and has these designs, that is unbelievable. It's an amazing thing, and thank you so much for everybody who has supported us this year by buying a merch. Now, before I start talking about some of the less positive things from this year, I do want to highlight a personal thing that is deeply personal for me as an achievement of this year that has nothing to do with creating videos for YouTube. This year, after so many years, for the first time, I ran 1,000 kilometers just within this one single year. I may have said in previous videos that I go out running, that's how I can eat so much in some of our videos, but I try to look after my health. I run 10 kilometers, max 2 to 3 times a week, and several years ago, I had this idea and thought to run a total of 1,000 kilometers within one single year. But unfortunately, at about month 5, just when this channel has started, I had some sort of an accident, which is nothing like a sports accident. Turns out there is a condition that I have that is very, very rare, and because of that I was hospitalized, and basically I could not go running after that for quite a long time. I had to go back to doctors, get things checked out, and maybe one day in the future I will talk a little bit more about that if you're interested. But the bottom line is that for several months I did not run, I could not do any sport, and basically I wasn't able to run as fast or as long as before that. And after a few years of going to doctors for checkups and talking about what's possible and what not, they cleared me for doing sports, and they were really happy to hear that I was really eager to do some sort of a sport activity, because unfortunately it's kind of rare these days that people are fighting for their chance to do some activities and do sports. So I started running again. I tried to build myself up once again to be able to run 10 kilometers. And this year, from the beginning of the year, I was determined that this will be the year when I will run a total of 1,000 kilometers. And at the end of November this year, I finally got to that point, and I'm super happy that after all of these years, after my accident and my condition was seen and found out, I could finally achieve this 1,000 kilometers. And maybe next year, I can try to go for a half marathon. Unfortunately, my doctors did not clear me for a full marathon. That dream will remain a dream most likely forever and after. But hey, maybe next year, next goal, half a marathon. All right, so let's have it. What is the lowlight of this year? Well, actually, it's not something that's kind of new. As I said, we've been doing this channel for about 5 years now. And the thing is that what we see is that the end of the year isn't really a rewarding experience for a content creator. And I think we don't really talk about this that much, about the burnout at the end of the year. The fact is that there is this common understanding that the end of the year is the best for content creation, especially on YouTube, when advertisers are paying the most money. And yeah, that's true, people want to advertise their stuff, so you buy them for Christmas and for the festive season as gifts or presents for yourself or for your loved ones, and there's a ton of money going to YouTube. But the problem is that a lot of people push out as much content as they possibly can. There's this thing called the Vlogmas, where basically people post videos every single day. And the thing is that maybe more money comes into YouTube, and maybe people have more time to watch them because the Christmas season comes. But the reality is that there is just so many videos out there that whatever you put out, it can easily be taken away by the flood of all the other videos. And sometimes, for me personally, the best experience is to go and shoot the videos and then edit them, make something, create something, and that's the part that I really love. I really don't like the part where you need to write a proper description that needs to be search engine optimized, hashtags, keywords, make a thumbnail that is really engaging and shocking maybe in some form or fashion. And I really don't like this part of content creation, and especially during this time of the year, unless you put out something that is really relevant and gets caught on by people easily, a lot of the things will be buried. So during this time, there are videos that we were really happy to make and create, but just because they are not about Budapest, for example, they don't get that many views. They don't get that much of an attention. Of course, we did a video about the Christmas market this year, which was very well received, and we are very happy, but you have to also understand it's our 5th year making a Christmas market video. Not a lot changes every single year. And if we don't make this video this year, then probably this December would have been a really terrible month. Maybe we don't even reach the 2 million views that we have reached this year. It's also thanks to coming out with this kind of video. But we don't have content that is relevant every single day. We cannot push so much out. So during the year, as a content creator, you try to make more and good and engaging videos that people love. But of course, it is a time-consuming experience. And if your child, because these videos are sort of like your child, you show this to the world, and if they get buried and get drowned by the flood of all the other videos out there, especially during this time of the year. So usually as the year comes to a conclusion, our views personally, they go down, and for the year you try to grow, see the numbers, they're going in a positive direction, but then as we get to Christmas season, we kinda already expect that the views won't be as good. But even if you set your expectations as a content creator, it's not really nice to see. It's not really a rewarding experience to see this, especially here at the end of the year, when everything should be about reflecting on the positives, looking at the future. Being here in this position can be a little bit demotivating. But even if the views aren't that high this time of the year and the current state of social media isn't really encouraging, there is still something that motivates us and keeps us going, and that is all of you. Not just you who watch, but all of you who comment, and most importantly, this year a lot of you came up to us, found us on the streets and said hi. More than ever. And that is some of the most amazing thing, that I walk the streets and someone recognizes me and says hi, says thanks, and all the positive things that you guys are telling us about our videos, that we are having a nice vibe, we have a more positive kind of an experience that we offer to all of you through our videos. And really importantly, you come here, you have a good time because you watched our videos, you had your expectations set, you knew what you're getting yourself into here in Budapest, and then you walk away with a smile on your face, and that is because we had something to do with that. That is just amazing. And also this year we had 2 times a meetup. Both times in Simplakert, because there's no better venue for that, I believe. Those experiences of talking to you guys directly about what you enjoy about the city, what you enjoy about our videos, is some of the most motivating things that we can get. And all the love and the support not just through, you know, comments and likes, but we have more than 60 members, 60 people who we can call as Cabbage supporters and Cabbage lovers, who support us monthly, who are somewhere in the world, or here in Europe, or here in Hungary, but from all over the globe. There are so many people who support us on a monthly basis regularly so that we can grow, we can do more. That is, again, not comprehensible for me. It is insane. This is a very small country. There's a lot of things out there in the world where Hungary may not be shown in a positive light. A lot of people don't hear about Hungary, or if they do, it's not gonna be something positive, unfortunately. So the fact that me as a small everyday person here can create content that I love, and you guys watch it and you enjoy it and you find it useful, and in the end you also support us on a monthly basis, thank you so much. These are the things, even in these times, if the views are down, if what I see on social media is not encouraging, looking at all the nice comments, looking at all the photos. I looked through all the photos this year of how many times we met, and we couldn't take pictures, but you guys still said hi, and those were amazing things to see now and remember how many of you came up this year to us to say hi. It was amazing. So in the end, while there are some lower sides to this industry and being a content creator, it is a truly rewarding experience. Thanks to all of you who support us, who like what we do. And yeah, if you watched till the end of me rambling about this year, thank you so much for doing so. And hope to see you guys in our future videos next year as well. Bye!